Hey, welcome to another episode of English with Alice. I'm your host, Teacher Bird, and today we're here with a special guest, Ben Hooper from England. Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Ben Hooper. I'm 21. I'm from Cardiff, Wales, in the United Kingdom.
Thanks for that, Ben. Today we're just going to have a conversation with Ben about living in England, how's life there, what led him to study where he's going now, and also it's his first time in Thailand, and what's his thoughts on Thailand, how's he finding that. So Ben, first time in Thailand. First time in Asia also, correct?
Yes, correct.
So how did you find it so far?
Well, the first few days were quite tiring because the flight took 16 and a half hours.
That's a long flight.
But the whole travelling itself took 24 hours, so it was very tiring. But I've never experienced any sort of culture like this before. Everybody's so laid back and polite, and the food I've been having is, again, something I've never really tried before, so that was delicious. And upon my arrival, we went to Koh Lanta,
yes,
and that was absolutely beautiful. So I really enjoyed that weekend.
So on the topic of food there, Ben, so like in England, what's kind of like your staple foods? What's your diet look like there?
Well, before I came to Thailand, I was actually vegetarian for a year. So I would say it didn't really consist of any sort of like diet. I'm quite a fairly healthy person in terms of food consumption, but nothing focused. But I was very strict on what I ate because I do a lot of sport.
Yes.
So I then, as I said previously, I was a vegetarian for 12 months before coming to Thailand.
So how did you find that?
Well, the first few weeks of that was incredibly difficult.
Yes.
Because I was doing it when I was in a university house, and my location was very close to fast food restaurants. So the temptation was always
everywhere.
There. So as a student, you'll become quite lazy. So because of the laziness, I was always tempted to say, should I just go for a beef burger? But you got to be strict sometimes. So the first few weeks was difficult, but after a while, it's human nature.
Willpower.
Exactly.
So, but in England, what's kind of like the staple food? Kind of like, what's the normal diet for an English person?
Well, the people look at the traditional English food as like fish and chips or more easy sort of cuisine as beans on toast. But in Britain, we have any type of food. We have Italian, Chinese, Japanese, anything really. And part of British culture is that we put a little bit of British culture into that type of cuisine. So we don't really have a sort of set cultural dish, if you get me. So we
a bit of everything.
Have a bit of everything, yes.
But that is nice.
I am from Wales, so I'm from Wales, not England.
Oh, okay.
So there are sort of some sort of differences in what we would eat. Yeah.
What about language then? Like Welsh, that's Welsh.
Yeah, well, in school, from reception, which was when you were 4 years old, you taught Welsh language.
Yes.
And that is up until you're 18. Although from the ages of 15, it's optional how often you do it. But the Welsh language is a very intricate language. I found it quite difficult because none of my family are Welsh speaking at all. And the part of Cardiff I'm from, it's very English speaking.
Mm.
So I couldn't speak Welsh to anybody to practice. Only in school would I briefly speak it, but then what I would be speaking, the Welsh I would be speaking wouldn't be helpful in day-to-day life.
Because it was all structured in class and
yes,
things like that.
It was like, I like football, I like chips. But I wouldn't just say that. I wouldn't go out in public and just go to a random person. I like football in Welsh.
Yeah, it's got like, what's the point of having a conversation like that? So at home you spoke English with your parents.
Yes.
But you had to speak Welsh in school.
Well, no, it was completely English-speaking school. But out of the 5 days you were in school, you only had about 2 hours a week of Welsh speaking, but because the classes in Britain are 30 pupils a class,
yes,
it can be difficult because every student has a different type of learning. So with 30 kids, and of course, some children are, they're more wild, or every kid's different.
That is very true.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to learn language with that sort of class size.
And some are a bit more linguistic inclined, and some are more mathematically inclined.
Yeah, with speaking as well, because the area we're from in Cardiff, and as I said, there was not a great quantity of Welsh speakers. We found that there was quite a few people at the school, pupils, who were very blunt in approaching classes. They'd be like, I don't want to do this, I don't see the point. So it was very difficult for other pupils to get engaged.
With that topic on Welsh, is it a lot different to English? Or I have absolutely no idea.
It's very difficult to speak. It's completely different. Some very difficult words to pronounce.
So it is a language in its own. It's not just like a spin-off of English.
No, it's completely
different.
Yes, completely different.
So I actually like it that you brought that up, because a lot of the Thai students, they have to study English.
Yes.
And a lot of them only have English also 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And they are in the same situation when they go home. They don't speak English, they speak Thai. If they watch television, it's all in Thai. Yeah. I was exchange student in Germany when I was 16. So that was my first time in a different culture.
Okay.
And I found a lot of people don't speak English. I thought, well, it's Germany. Well, people would speak English.
Yeah.
My German was okay, but when you start to speak English to people, they don't get you. So I never understood why. But again, for them, everything is in German. Their movies are German, their adverts are German, the magazines are German. The only time they spoke English, like you with Welsh, was in the class setting. Now, with you studying Welsh at school, was it all grammar focused more or more speaking? Or?
It was, well, we had to do a lot of writing in textbooks to be able to spell, because the words are, the letters, the words are just letters, random. It's very difficult to spell. We did a lot of focus on speaking, because when you go out to communicate with people physically, it's verbal.
Yes.
You don't hand them a piece of paper with Welsh on it.
You can if you want to, but
you can, but it's more time consuming, and I can't write Welsh.
And people will kind of like, are you okay?
It's so much more time consuming. People should go out and go on the internet and search Welsh words, because there are some words that are 15 letters long, and I can't. I'm 21 years old, and I've lived in Wales all my life, and to this day there are some words I look at and I go, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, or just I'm ignoring it.
So with that Welsh and English, so you say English is a very valuable language then?
Yes.
How did English enable you to do what you are doing today?
Well, obviously I'm at university in England, so English speaking it's not the most spoken language in the world, but to me it's the most, it's a core language in the world.
Yes.
A lot of the political leaders all speak English, and that is what the English language, with these world leaders or business leaders, the English language is the language that you hear them speak in the public, or in a business meeting, or that is the language that is spoken. So as someone who wants to get into business, or who's studying business, that is incredibly vital.
Yes. So like I said, it's not the biggest language in the world,
no,
but I think it's the most used language in the sense of, I think the internet, most of the things are English. Like I said, business, politics, everything is done in English. Yeah. Which year are you now in university?
I'm currently going into my final year at university.
Your final year. Yeah. So primary and secondary school, you were still in Cardiff.
Yes.
What made you decide to university now at?
Well, I always thought to myself, get out your comfort zone. Because getting out of your comfort zone means it's challenging.
Yes.
And I've always wanted to challenge myself. So to move away from Cardiff and study at the University of Gloucestershire, it meant I was independent, not just in my learning, but in my day-to-day life.
Yes.
So when I first moved, it was a little bit difficult being on my own, but challenging yourself, being challenging towards yourself, it is incredibly rewarding in the end. And that's not just challenging yourself in cooking for yourself or just living on your own. It goes a long way in helping you in other aspects.
That's true. Probably I was also excited, like moving out.
Yeah,
excitement and like
as much as I love my family, as much as I love my family, it's very nice to be on your own and have your own life sometimes.
That is true, and everyone has to experience that.
Exactly.
In Thailand, like I said, the kids do study the same. They have English.
Yes.
What's your view of, like, you are fluent in English. That is the language you spoke at home and everything.
Yes.
What's your view on grammar?
Ooh. Well, I understand its importance if your day-to-day life in education or your job, say you're like writing a report or you're at university writing an essay, it is important because it goes to show your academic learning and also to show that it puts the reader in the correct path of what you're saying. So I understand its importance when it's written. When it's verbally spoken, I don't like it. It does annoy me sometimes. People who are
Grammar police.
Grammar police, that's the word I was looking for.
So, because in Thailand they do emphasize grammar a lot.
Yeah.
Writing perfectly grammar, dissect the sentences and things. A lot of times I find it's actually detrimental to students. They get so focused on grammar, once you have to speak, like you said, when you speak, yes, you are going to make mistakes.
Of course.
And the English language, it's not small. And some grammar topics, it's debatable. And in English, if you do make a grammar mistake verbally, people still understand what you meant.
Of course.
And people don't generally correct you.
They wouldn't correct you when you're speaking.
Exactly. Also, living in England, you probably hear a lot of English people also make grammar mistakes when they speak.
Of course.
Nobody's perfect.
No.
But, so that's the thing also. People should just get confident in speaking English.
Well, since leaving school, my Welsh understanding has completely gone out of the window. I probably know more Thai now
than Welsh. But that's also a good point. Like for me, my German, I was very good at German, near fluent. If I have to speak German now, it's horrible. Yeah. But that's with languages. You have to use it,
of course,
or you will lose it.
Exactly. So, like, since I've come to Thailand, I've tried to speak Thai in every other sentence, even if it's just yes or no, or hello, or good night. It does help because, as you said, if you don't speak it, you'll lose it. Yes.
And like you said with Thai, you are learning to speak Thai.
Yes.
You're not worrying about the grammar or anything yet.
If I tried to learn the grammar, I couldn't try that. I'd really struggle.
Yes. Even my Thai students will all the time say Thai grammar is worse than English grammar.
Yes.
Same for Thai kids who speak English. If a Thai kid's going to come to you and start speaking English horribly, you're not going to judge them. You can say, okay, I do understand what you mean, or put one and one together. Then what have you enjoyed most so far in Thailand?
I would probably say there's two things I've really enjoyed. One is the people are so friendly and laid back, and they're very welcoming. The second, as I discussed earlier, was the food. Because as I said, I was vegetarian, so what I ate was very limiting. Since I came here, I've decided I will eat whatever I want. And the food's been delicious.
So how's the transition been from vegetarian going back to eating meat again?
The first day was, I thought to myself, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Because you've been like 12 months.
Yeah. So it was, the first few bites were difficult because it was just like, I'm not used to this anymore. But obviously the taste
made up for that.
Has just made up for it since. I've really enjoyed the food.
For me, when I travel, the first thing is food. Like wherever you go, every country is unique. Like I said, Thai food is popular for street food and the flavors. How's the spiciness?
Well, it's been challenging. I've struggled on most of the food. I've had to reduce the amount of food I've eaten because I thought to myself, I can't. I've tried a few cuisine, meals, and it was too spicy for me. So the people I've been living with, they've been helpful in saying, you can try this, but don't have too much of it, or be careful, because the food was or has been incredibly spicy at times.
Especially in southern Thailand. Southern Thailand is known for having spicy food. But how's the flavors? Because English food, or what I find generally Western food, we are more like rich, buttery, creamy kind of foods.
Well, I've eaten... Yeah, the flavours have been very, almost like exploding in your mouth. They're so different and so...
very fresh flavours.
Yes.
Sour, sweet, salty.
Some of the foods I've eaten, some of the food you eat, or some of the meals you have in England don't feel organic.
Yes.
I find.
Street food. Were you scared the first time, because people are always going about street food?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of friends and family that came over. It's like, street food?
Yeah.
And you will eat in that restaurant. The restaurants, like in England, when you go to a restaurant,
you dress up you sometimes dress up quite well, and it's quite
table linen.
Yeah, it's
everything.
Sometimes it's quite formal. When I first arrived and we got out the car, went straight to a table, and I was like, I thought to myself, wait, are we eating here? And then the food was very quick, and I was a little bit taken back as to how they eat, how they approach their meals.
Yes.
Because, as you said, street food I've never experienced, but I'm starting to really like it.
Thailand, like West, when we go out for a restaurant, you have your meal, he has her meal, he has his meal.
Everybody has their own individual meal.
Yes.
Whereas I've learnt here, there'll be a set meal ordered, and then everybody would help themselves from the middle.
It's like family eating, like properly when you're with your family, your mom cooked meals, everything on the table, everyone eats
the middle,
together.
and everybody would help themselves.
That took me some time also to get used to, because if you go to a restaurant, this is my plate of food.
Don't touch my food.
Don't touch, it's off limits. But also, then we get frustrated because I ordered my food, you get yours, basically finished eating yours, and now I get mine.
Yes.
But in the viewpoint of if it's like a family meal, it doesn't really matter, because whatever comes, everyone shares.
Yes, exactly. Benefits, though, is because everybody's eating the same food, you then can talk about, well, have you tried this? Try that food or don't try that food. It's very spicy and engages more communication, which is good, because sometimes in England you will eat your food and not talk. Nobody will talk until everybody has finished their food.
Ben, I think we can wrap it up there. One last question I want to ask you. You've learned a second language. You've went through the whole system. For people students who are learning a second language, is there any tips or advice you can give to or maybe from your perspective, what made your life easier learning a second language?
I'd say speak it as much as you can. We don't realise how much spare time we have to ourselves. Mm-hmm. So maybe download an app on your phone. That's what I did with Thai speaking. I downloaded an app, and during my spare time, I would speak it. And when I arrived in Thailand, I realised, although it's very minimal, I can engage with Thai speakers. So a tip is to appreciate your spare time and speak.
And you get respect from people
of course.
If you do
yes,
that.
You do. Yeah.
And that was Ben Hooper. And I must say it was a nice conversation with you today, Ben. I really enjoyed it. And thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Until next time, goodbye.